What up, what up? It is Alex, the fantasy football hustler, back at you. We got some week 12 waiver wire moves to make. If you're a contender, you got to make some of these pickups. If you're a playoff pretender, you got to make some of these pickups so you aren't the laughing stock of your league. Let's jump into it. We're going to talk about a handful of players at each position here. I'm also going to let you know some players you need to cut loose. Get rid of these bums. Just jump into the players you should pick up first. Waiver wire is very, very thin right now. If someone did drop him and you're able to pick him up for nothing, just say thank you. We don't know what's going to happen, but it looks like Estime is not the guy. If nothing else, it's going to be like a split between these guys. Maybe it's all the weed that Peyton is smoking. He can't make up his mind on what to do. But even if they ride the hot hand, I want one of those hot hands because they're going to ride one of these guys down the stretch, and it's probably going to be Javonte. Because of lack of options, Roschon Johnson is the most added guy right now. I would go at him. He's really just bench depth, and that's about it. I've always said that Swift isn't really the guy. So, of course, we like a guy like Roschon, especially when they give him as many rushes as they do in the red zone. Now, to all these dart throw running backs who have been heavily added so far this week. Cam Akers, Justice Hill, Jalen Warren, Trey Benson, Ameer Abdullah. Ameer Abdullah, the one who's available everywhere. It pretty much, they made it sound like he's going to be the starter moving forward. He got 50% of the snaps this past week. Either way, it's all bad over there. Cam Akers, I know some people are getting excited about it. It's really just bench depth that you should be adding. This past week, 11.5 points. Nothing to go crazy about, but if anything happens to Aaron Jones, he's going to be the guy over there. And if he's going to be getting double-digit touches in a lot of these games, which he has in both of the last two games, it's just a good guy to have for bench depth. Now, one thing that I've always said about Justice Hill is when the Ravens are in a game where it's a bad matchup for Derrick Henry. Even though we start him, it just means that they're probably going to get Justice Hill a little bit more involved in the pass game. And what happened this past game? 7 targets, 4 receptions, only 28 yards. He got 10 points, but we're talking about picking up bench depth here that we hope hit. Trey Benson, I've hated on him. Both weeks before the bye, he has over 10 points. He's not getting an insane amount of snaps. So that's one thing that sucks either way. But we're talking about picking up bench depth that could make a difference to a playoff run. So you're going to put in waiver wire claims on all of these guys. And I'm not really too much of a fan of Warren right now, and he's rostered above 50% anyways. Now to the trending receivers. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, someone who I told you about weeks and weeks ago. Been a little bit fluky. Let's hope that what happened this week is something that we can bank on happening moving forward. 3 out of the last 4 games, double-digit points. The matchups are great for them moving forward as well. Houston, Washington, Jacksonville, Cincinnati. Nothing to go crazy about. He definitely won't be covered by Stingley. So if he's available, he already shouldn't be, but I'm sure a lot of people dropped him after last week. Go pick him up.
Pick him up!
Now, I know there's a lot of people who could say that the Juedy game was a little bit fluky, but you know what's not fluky? 11, 11, and 8. Those are his last 3 games and the amount of targets that he's got in each of those. If he is available, go pick him up. He's one of the most trending guys right now, so I'm sure in most leagues he's not available, but if he is, go grab him. Devaughn, Vele, over 10 points in each of the last 2 games. Not a lot of targets and not a lot of yards necessarily, but Bo Nix does like him, and he would just be someone, if you're in a deeper league, this is kind of the guy that you'd be putting in a waiver wire claim on this week. As well as potentially Adam Thielen. That'll be the last wide receiver to just touch on real quick because he should be coming back and getting active any week now, probably this week, and he's one of the most trending added guys on Sleeper right now as well. So if you have any questions on who you should pick up at tight end, just make sure you leave it in as a comment. Noah Gray, out of all the trending tight ends, he's the only one that's really readily available, and I don't even know how much I like that. It's just because they've been spreading around the ball over there. Taysom, even if he is available, you could go pick him up, but he's on a bye this week, so that sucks. Johnny's been on fire. Zach Ertz, toughish matchup coming up, but I don't even know if that matters. He's been getting so much volume, it might not matter. If he is available because he is rostered in less than 50% of leagues, go pick him up.
Pick him up!
Now we've made it to everybody's favorite segment of the week, the team defenses that you should be picking up. And I would say the top defense for me that I'd be picking up this week is the Washington Commandos going up against the Cowboys. It's a great matchup. Look at what they did to Houston yesterday. A whole lot of nothing. Really, it was like every other play. They almost threw a pick. Washington been a little hit or miss over the last couple weeks, but they've had some toughish matchups as well. Dallas is going to be one of the better matchups to stream your defense against. The other trending defense, the Tampa Bay Bucks, coming off of the bye. 27% rostered on Sleeper, only 14% rostered on Yahoo. They're going against the New York Giants and Tommy DeVito. Of course, we want to go stream the Bucks off of the bye against them. It is going to be ugly for the Giants, especially the Giants pass game. Those first two defenses are the only ones I'm putting the hustler stamp of approval on, but I got three more here that if you're in a pinch, you could go grab. First one, Chicago Bears going up against the Minnesota Vikings. We've seen Sam Darnold get a handful of sacks in a game. We've seen him throw multiple interceptions in a game. So that's really the main reason. It's a very tough divisional game, and Chicago still is one of the better defenses in the league, especially their secondary. My next defense is going to be extra sneaky. This is the one that you really want to go get if you are diving at the bottom of the barrel. It is the Arizona Cardinals, 2% roster on Sleeper, 4% on Yahoo. Before their bye week, they had 2 games with double-digit points, and they're going up against the Seahawks, who over the last 4 weeks, they've had 3 games in these last 4 weeks. They are giving up the second most points to team defense. So we love playing the matchups, and this is going to be a tough divisional matchup as well. The Cardinals have been stepping it up as of recent, and the Seahawks have been giving up a bunch of points to the team defense as of recent. I saved the ugliest one for last, the Los Angeles Rams, only rostered in 8% on Sleeper. Crazy how they're rostered in 47% of leagues on Yahoo. They got the Eagles, who have been middle of the road and giving up points to team defense. This one is just there so I could get to my 5. I really don't like the Rams at all this week versus the Eagles because the Eagles have been on the come up as of late. Remember, it's the Cardinals. They're the sneaky pickup. Don't tell nobody.
But don't tell nobody.
Now, this is always the fun part. We talk about the guys that you need to get off your team, you know, those bums who've been clogging up roster spots.
He's a bum. He was a bum then, and he's a bum now.
Dawson Knox, the #1 dropped guy right now on Sleeper.
Forget this bum.
It was a good idea. He got you 8 points. He didn't like completely fluke you. Tight end suck. It's crazy how everyone's dropping Tyler Bass. If you're in the kicker league, I don't know, just get rid of him, man.
He's a bum.
Russell Wilson. Oh, man, everyone cut bait on Russell after his bad game. In a single QB league, you could probably get rid of him if you just picked him up, you know, because Baker was on a bye or something. I totally get it. Super flex, you guys better not be dropping them. I think people got really tired of the Ricky Pearsall experiment. He's one of the most dropped guys right now. And if you're in a super deep league, don't drop him. The 49ers are so cursed, they might get more injuries. But yeah, with George Kittle being out and he got like 0, got nothing at all, of course people are going to want to get rid of his ass. Deontay Johnson, I've been telling you to get rid of him. Mike Gesicki, after what we saw 2 weeks ago, I was just completely out on him. Kirk Cousins, I'm sure a lot of these drops are in single QB leagues. You guys better not be dropping them if you're in super flex. Single QB, you got to do what you got to do. Hopefully you drop them, you pick up someone who helps you this week, and then you try to pick them up again next week. Estime, he's one of the most dropped guys. Feel free to drop him. I would hold if I'm in a deeper league, but if you're in a 10-man league, which is the most popular format, yeah, get rid of him. Get someone else on your bench who can help you more. Now, one that surprised me was Tucker Kraft and how many people dropped him. Unless you have a McBride or someone better than him, just outright clearly, I would be holding him because he has a lot of good weeks coming up. It's a shit week in week 12 against San Fran. I understand that. But then they got Miami in week 13. That's been solid. Detroit in week 14. That's really bad. But then Seattle, New Orleans, and Minnesota, all of those are positive matchups for him. So if he was dropped, go pick him up. And if you have Tucker Kraft, unless you really need an extra roster spot because of the bye week, I say you hold him because there's going to be someone who picks him up for the playoffs and he's going to boom during the playoffs. Look at these weeks, man. Seattle, New Orleans, Minnesota. Minnesota may be the toughest matchup, but Seattle and the New Orleans Saints have been an amazing matchup for the tight end. So if someone dropped Tucker Kraft, go pick him up, and don't drop Tucker Kraft unless you really need to pick up someone to start this week specifically because it's such a horrible matchup for him. And there is the waiver wire video for the week. I hope you guys are enjoying the new format. If you are enjoying the format, please put in a comment because I love the feedback. Make sure if you guys have not joined the community at 420crew.com, make sure you go do that. You could join for free or you could join as a paid member. I recommend joining as a paid member. Support your boy, support small business. I got leagues that are going to be drafting for the NFL playoffs. That's going to be happening in less than 2 months. It is awesome. These are the redemption playoff leagues. Do you need some redemption for some leagues that you just were doing great, but somehow you had a shit schedule and you're screwed and you're not going to make the playoffs? Trust me, I know all about that life. So make sure you go join 420crew.com so you can stay in the loop of everything that's going on. And then fantasyfootballhustler.com. Go there so you can get to everywhere that I am on social media and you can go follow me. Any other questions, leave them in the comments because I do my best to answer all of them when they come in. Godspeed. Happy week 12 hunting. Let's go.